This is great.
Okay, we're recording. Yeah, this is fun, isn't it, Bubby? It is. Okay, so the first thing, so you can come in just so we're in frame.
Sure.
So the first thing when we're working on recall, I have like 3 major recall rules. So the first one is always reinforce. So always give a treat, always do something to reward, even if he doesn't come back right away, even if it's not really perfect. We always want to make sure that it's valuable to him to come back to us.
Okay.
And then the second one is change up the value of the reinforcer. So you want to kind of change it if you're in a more difficult situation, like at the dog park, if there's a lot of other dogs around, you're going to need a much higher value treat.
Okay.
When we're just working back here, we can just use our normal treats. Some things that I like to use for high value treats is things like cat food. So what I often do is I have a bunch of little containers, put like a spoonful of cat food into each, pop a container in my pocket. Then when I recall my dogs, they each just get to lick the cat food for a couple seconds, and then I put it back, and it lasts us like, I can recall them like 10 times with that.
Right.
And
Like
it's
wet cat food.
exactly,
Right.
yeah, exactly. You can try like wet or dry cat food
Yeah.
too. Anything that he values.
Right.
Cut up hot dog wieners are also really good. Just like boiled plain chicken breast is also really good. Something that's going to be kind of smelly and mushy, something that you're probably going to want to put in a Ziploc bag, not directly into your pants.
Okay.
But those are going to be the most valuable things for him.
Okay.
Just because at this age, he's also 9 months, right? So he's just becoming a teenager. So when we're entering the teenage phase, there's a lot of brain changes that are happening. You've already noticed that. Seems like maybe some hormonal changes going on, which totally makes sense. So a lot of times at this stage, I see dogs getting much more interested in the environment. They just want to explore. They're ready to get a little bit of independence, but we don't really necessarily want that, right? Like
No.
we don't want to
For his
encourage
safety,
that.
I don't want him, dashing out to see someone on the street.
Exactly. So this is the time where it's just important to just be really on top of your training.
Okay.
Once he's a little older, you can slack off a little bit, but just for right now, just try to be super consistent with reinforcing every single time, even if it's not perfect. And then my third rule for recall is just be careful with where you're letting him off leash. So my general rule is I don't let my dogs off leash unless I'm willing to bet money that they're going to come back when I call.
Right.
Right? Because if I'm letting them off and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's another dog over there, they might not come back, it's not going to be really super successful. So if you want to have a successful recall overall, only want to call him when you're sure that he will actually come back, or when you're like 99% sure that he'll come back, and then reinforce right away.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so as far as treats go, can he have cheese? Like we've been giving him cheese. Is that a high value reward?
Yes.
Or is that like?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
that would be a good one too. Okay.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese, just keep it to a minimum. That's
Yeah.
something that I usually would recommend checking with your vet.
Yeah.
Just because they'll know more about his needs and like his, all those different levels and stuff like that. My vet has told me for my dogs, because they're older, just minimize the cheese. Just because it's pretty high in fat, can be a little bit hard on the liver. So stuff that's made specifically for animals tends to be a bit better, but you can use it as just throw some variety in there.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of shredded cheese mixed within his kibble or something like that can just make the kibble a bit more exciting as a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Fair enough.
have options.
Right. Sounds good. Okay. So hot dog wieners, cat food, cheese, and in moderation.
Exactly, yeah, and anything that he can lick, like you can get those pouches of wet food that you can just cut open,
Right.
put it in a Ziploc bag, and just like squirt a little bit into his mouth when he comes back. That might be easier because then you don't have to think about preparing it. You just grab one out of the fridge and you can kind of go.
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. Those are good ideas. Yeah. I don't know. I've never owned a dog before, so I'm not sure what he should or shouldn't be eating. And
Exactly, and people will tell you different things, right? Like people are very opinionated with dog food. Your best resource is just always going to be your vet.
Yeah.
Different dogs might have different dietary needs, depending on. I mean, for him, it doesn't sound like he has any allergies or restrictions whatsoever that we know of. So
not that we know of.
yeah, so you're pretty good to experiment
Okay.
within reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wet dog food can also be good if that's something that's valuable to him. If it's something he gets every day, does he eat wet
He
food?
gets wet and dry mixed.
Okay.
Usually once a day, and then the rest of the time is dry.
Got it.
And he's a bit of a grazer, so he
Okay.
doesn't really have 2 set meal times right now. He'll have a meal maybe mid-morning, noon, and then maybe a snack in the afternoon, and then a big meal, sometimes like as late as 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So,
So he's kind of flexible.
yeah.
He just likes to eat.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine are like that too.
Yeah.
The other thing that we can do with our rewards to make it more valuable. So, like, let's say, for example, like sometimes I have a client whose vet says only give them like treats that are made for dogs, only give them freeze-dried chicken for whatever reason, right? So if that was the case, then we can do things to make that more valuable. So instead of just giving him a treat normally, that's kind of boring, we can go, what's this? Oh, go get it. Do like a little chase, and then he's gonna come back to me, wow, good job, yeah, oh my gosh, so good, go get it. Make it a little chase game, wow, yeah, go get it. So that it can be more of a reward event that lasts like 10 to 30 seconds.
Right.
Good boy. And then he's practicing running away and then coming back to you.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
Perfect. So the next thing that we can do is pick a recall cue. So I usually like to start with a brand new cue that the dog's never heard before, because a lot of time the dog's name, we just say it casually, so they might learn to...
Come.
Yeah, they might not learn really to listen to it very well. So I often do a whistle. Can you whistle?
No.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. We make like cat sounds, like come here.
That's a really good one as like an attention cue for when he's close to you.
Yeah.
The only issue with that is it's not very loud. That's the thing. So you could also just choose, like, you could just scream the word treats if you want to.
Yeah.
Something really simple like that. You can just be like, cabbages. Just pick something that you're going to be consistent with that always predicts a treat for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried treats, but then I have every like breath, the dog bark, and I yell treats.
Every dog comes running.
Which is fine, but at the same time, like, okay.
We don't really need that. So
No.
maybe something that's a bit more unique to him. So we can, let's put that on the back burner. We can think about that for a second. We could, I don't know, maybe use like his full name, Edward, something like that.
Yeah.
You can use his name, but
Yeah.
what do you think about that, buddy? What do you think about that? So what we can do now is just practice a little game in between us. So he's paying a lot of attention to me because I just threw a whole bunch of treats for him. So what you can do is just repeat what I did, like show him the treat and be like, wow, awesome, throw it. Just get him interested, do that like 2 or 3 times, and then we'll see if he's paying a lot of attention to you. Then we can start calling him back and forth in between us.
Okay. Eddie.
Maybe. I think that it's just a treat that I put there, so we can give him a second to finish that.
Find it? Hey, Eddie, look.
Good job.
Oh, look at this. What's that? Go see. Do I have another? Num-nums? Num. Ooh. There we go. How about one more? Do you want another? There it goes. Where is it? You found it.
Yay!
Good boy.
So what if we use the word here?
Okay.
Does that work as a recall cue
sure.
for you guys? You can always change it just by repeating the same process. Once a dog has learned one recall cue, it's pretty easy to teach them another. You just have to kind of go through the steps again, and then he'll get it pretty quickly.
Okay.
So he's not going to know the word yet, so we have to make it mean something to him. So the next time he comes over here, I'll have you start, because I want him to be mainly focused on you. Just say the word here with your hands like by your side.
Oops.
That's okay. So put your empty hands by your side and then say here and then give him a treat. Oh, wow. You're already listening to me? Okay. I said it, so I give a treat. That's the rules.
Down.
Maybe I'll stand next to you to start with.
Sure.
So just say the word and give him a treat.
Here.
Good. And then do that one more time.
Here. Ooh, that's a
Good.
small one.
So he's very attentive. He's definitely perking up when you say it.
Wow.
Let's just do one more like that.
Oops. See. Here.
Good. Nice catching yourself.
Yep. Oh, you scored that time, buddy.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stand like
good
kind of
boy.
right here. I said it. I'm like, oh, I got to be careful. Good. Now you can say it and give him a treat.
Here.
Good. And I like that you just reached down to give him the treat even though he wasn't already coming.
Yeah.
That's great at this stage because he doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Here. Now your turn.
Here.
A little bit louder. There you go.
There we are. Good boy.
Good boy.
Job.
Here. The treat pouch seems to kind of be like a magical signal to dogs.
Yeah, I'm noticing.
Right? Yeah.
Here. Yeah, good boy.
If you want to trade, I'll put treats in my pocket. I'll just give him something to chew over here.
I'll have to yeah.
I can give you this one to wear for today.
Sure, let's try that and see.
I'll just take like a couple treats in my pocket. see if that changes things.
Yeah. He's pretty quick. He learns
He is.
quite quickly how things are supposed to go.
Definitely.
Oops.
Look who has it now.
Here. Ooh, that's a good one. You're a lucky
No,
guy.
I'll do one. Here.
I think it might be you.
I am pretty special. I
That's
come over
great.
here, I give a bunch of treats.
Yeah. Here. Wait, there's a smell that got caught. Eddie, here.
There you go.
Good boy.
There, that was perfect. So now what we can do is let's just give him another little break.
Mhm.
So that's a good game that you can do with Brian.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be better if we just have you doing the training now, because I don't want him to like become too fixated on me just because I'm a novelty right now. So another way that we can do this game if you're by yourself is you just stand and then you throw a treat, and then as soon as he finishes eating it, you give your cue, and then he's gonna come back, you give him one here, you throw another one over there. So it kind of makes a loop.
Sure.
So let's try that loop like 2 to 3 times and see how that goes.
Eddie. Oh.
And then be ready.
Here.
Good timing, so you can just drop one on the ground.
There we go. Good boy. Yeah. What's this? Oh, no. Down. There we are. Good job, buddy. Yeah. Here. Is this how it works? He says, oh my goodness.
Whoa, that's a big one.
Yeah, let's give you, okay, 2. There we are. Oop, all done.
Good.
Which he seems to understand. He's like, oh, all done. Then he's like,
Perfect. That's great. Yeah, it's good to have something like that.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so how do those little games feel so far?
Good. Yeah. Those are very easy to remember and easy to do.
Exactly.
And he's responding to them really well. So that's.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Recall is not really super complicated. It's just about consistency and making sure that you're always reinforcing it.
Yeah.
Because if you go like 2 or 3 times where you're not reinforcing it, he might be like, it's not really super worth it to me anymore. I'm just going to go do my own thing over here.
Yeah. Okay.
So the other component of a recall is a lot of times you're going to want to put him back on leash after you recall him. Of course, sometimes that's kind of the purpose.
Yeah.
So the tricky thing is that some dogs realize if I come, I'm going to get put back on leash, and I don't like that. So even if you're giving them a treat, they might think, I don't know if it's going to be worth it though, because then I'm going to lose my ability to run around, so I don't know if I want to come back.
Yeah.
So there's ways to get around that. So something that you can do is just practice recalling him, putting him on the leash, give him a treat after you put him on leash as well,
Okay.
and then let him off leash right away.
Right. Okay.
So that way it doesn't always mean that he's going to stay on leash.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes we go on leash for a second and then you get to go run again. So that's something good to practice just like 2 or 3 times if you have him at an off leash area.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you walk him on a harness or a collar?
We have both. Normally, depends where we're going.
Okay.
So we have like a slip leash, like one of those ones that is just a rope, and
Okay.
you can just mainly to get him from here to the car.
Got it.
Because
Okay.
As soon as we open the front door, he bolts for the neighbor's house to play
Okay.
with his friend, and it was really bad a few weeks ago, and we thought getting him in the harness every single time we want to go out the front door was just like this was just faster if we're going to the North 40 Park and he's going to be off leash anyways.
Yeah.
When we get there, we just use that for very brief, like
Just
you
like short
a
transport.
40-second move to the car
'Kay.
and a 1-minute walk out of the car at the park, and then he's off. So
Okay.
the harness, he cowers and runs away.
Oh, he
from.
does. Okay.
We've never had we've never had a bad experience with it.
Yeah.
Or anything, but and he loves going out. He loves going to the park. He knows when the harness and leash come out that he's going somewhere fun.
Yeah.
But whereas when the other leash comes out, he's very eager actually to have it put on him
Okay.
and go. So I don't know if the harness is adjusted properly. It's not
Yeah.
too tight or anything.
I think I sold you a harness,
That's
didn't
right.
I? Is it
Yeah,
the
it's
same one still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember him like being scared of it when we first
No.
introduced it. So that is interesting. I
It's
wonder what's
new.
happened there. Yeah.
I can get it and show you if you want. It's kind of funny. As soon as
Okay.
it comes out, he sort of hunches over and runs away. And I can get to him. I put the harness on with a couple of treats, good boy. And then we get the leash on. And as soon as the front door opens and we're out, it's okay. He doesn't mind wearing it then.
Okay.
There's no problem.
It's
wearing
just putting it on.
putting it on.
He's not a fan of.
Like,
Okay.
why?
Do you put it over his head or do you clip it up around his neck
we
first?
were doing over the head at first. Now we clip.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
find that that's a bit better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he still runs away?
But he still does.
Interesting.
And he gets it on, and then he'll run and sit like sort of against a wall.
Oh.
And lean against a wall. I know.
Okay.
I'm like, well, and both Brian and I say, well, I'd never
Never do anything bad with the
Like I
harness.
pinned him to the ground and
Yeah.
wrestled him into it. We've never done that. We just, it takes a bit of time, but we get him into it.
Right. Ollie's a bit like that too. It's funny. The same thing. He's never had a bad experience that I can think of with the harness. But some dogs just really don't like having stuff close to their body like that, and they just prefer just a collar. Do you have a normal collar for him as well?
We don't have one that fits right now because his neck has gotten.
Oh, okay. He's grown.
Right. So that was actually this weekend's job, was to go to PetSmart and get a proper, big collar.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because then you can attach his ID to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be important, especially if you are letting him off leash. That's pretty essential. Does he have a dog license?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because we've been waiting for him to get fixed, which is hopefully in the next 3 weeks or so. But we'll definitely get him licensed. He has a chip from SARC.
That's good. That's
it's
good.
still registered to them till we get him fixed. So
Oh, okay. But at least if it's registered somewhere, then they'll be able to track you down. So that is good. Yeah. I know the licenses you get a bit of a discount if your dog is
fixed. Yeah, it's like $25 less.
Yeah. So, okay, that's a good plan. Yeah. What do you think? Whoa, we're doing big jumpies. Do you have a toy that you can play with? Is this your horseshoe? Ready?
What he actually much prefers is stuffies.
Oh, yeah.
Outside, so let's grab one. This is.
Those look very well loved.
Go get it. Wait a second here. Go get it. Want this one?
Good boy. So I noticed you kind of naturally used the word come. So if you do want to go back to that as your recall cue, just because that's naturally what you say, that's totally fine. It'll be okay. Yeah.
Maybe he'll learn 2 words. Go get your toy. Go get your toy.
Yeah, he can have multiple cues. That's all good. For my dogs, like, since I've put in, years of work with them now, like, it's so nice because anytime I open my mouth to say anything, they're like, they're ready, which I'm like, oh yes, the training has paid off. This is so nice. They're just very attentive.
Nope. You have to sit though. Sit. Should we go get your toy? What if I get your toy?
Ooh. Hi, monkey. Hi, monkey.
This used to be stuff.
Oh, a lamb chop. Wow. Did you destroy your lamb chop?
3 of them.
3 lamb chops? That's so fun.
It's just not enough right now. Stay down there. And you still have your baby toy? This is
Aww.
your toy thing home. Huh?
Oh, that's so cute. Aww.
It has been well worn.
Hi.
We usually play this for hours. No, sneaky guy.
So if he's really fixating, we can just do another little treat sprinkle in the grass, and we can prepare. I have just kind of one more exercise that I wanted to do, and then we can work on anything else that you have.
Yeah.
So if you want to grab his slip leash, so we can just use that since that's what you have right now, and then we can just practice recalling him, putting on the leash. You don't have to even like hold it. You can just put it on him, give him a treat, and then take it off.
I'll just put this here for now. Okay.
Sure.
I'll grab-
I know, Bubba. Okay, come over here with me. What's this? So I'm gonna see if I just kind of go back a few steps, just associate it with some treats, how he'll feel about it. So we're getting a little bit of head turning away and lip licking, which could indicate a bit of discomfort. Good boy. Throw one away, see if he wants to come back. Good boy. Yeah, definitely a bit of avoidance.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, I'm not coming any closer. Yeah, that's too funny.
It is, and see his ears go a bit flatter too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We don't
Yeah.
like the harness.
No.
We don't like it.
Should we go for... What's his head? Want to see? Want to see? There we go. Boop. There we are.
Good boy.
Done. Good job, good job.
Okay, yeah, he definitely looked more comfortable with that.
Yep, that one just goes on and it's just like...
Easy peasy.
Oops, where did these go?
Oh, it's a big pouch.
Oh,
You
am I
kind of
using
have
the
to
wrong
pry
one?
it open.
Oh, okay. What have I done here? 1, 2.
It's
guy?
this one, yeah. You
Oh,
kind of
okay.
have to just, yeah,
Ah,
there you
we
go.
are, Okay.
Good.
One more? Okay.
Good, yeah, and then you can take it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I
Good
mean,
boy.
this type of leash, I know it's not really great or recommended, but for us, for just those short blasts, it just keeps him from zipping out into the road and over next door.
Exactly. For short-term transport, these are
Yeah.
fine. I just don't recommend these for like walks and for
Oh,
training.
no.
But for, yeah, if
Yeah.
it's just easy to slip it on him and it prevents him from running away, then yeah, totally. Hey, Bubby.
Yeah, but once we get the harness on,
Then he's having
and
a
the
good
leash,
time.
then he's fine.
Yeah.
We head out and we clip it on at the back, so he's clipped on
Okay,
here on
okay.
his back. And I thought, well, maybe it was because the leash is heavy and it's kind of dragging down his back,
Maybe.
and he just doesn't like that. I haven't tried connecting the leash to the front.
Okay.
But yeah, I
That's
don't know.
funny.
Yeah, it is. It's quite strange.
Interesting.
I mean, he didn't always love it, but he certainly started to really not like it after a little while.
Okay.
It's like, okay, well, this is, yeah.
He might just find it's a little bit too bulky, even though this is a
Yeah.
very minimal design.
Yeah.
Ollie has the exact same harness, and he does the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
no matter how much I try to condition him to like it,
Yeah.
we can just only get so far, and then he's like, nope, not
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah.
So generally, I just walk him on his collar because he doesn't really pull too much. Does he pull on the leash very much?
He will pull if he sees somebody or something he wants to go to. So he's like a
Got it.
sled dog.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Yeah, he'll, the forelegs go out, and he's like,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
pulling to get to another dog or a person or
Mm-hmm.
anything that he finds interesting. So normally it's okay, but
Yeah.
he will pull for sure.
Just in those
in those,
instances.
yeah.
Okay. And I know you take him to off-leash areas a lot. So how many times a week would you say that you just take him on a regular walk on leash around the block?
We were doing that, and it was really frustrating for all of us because he would get so far, and then he'd sit on someone's lawn, and I'd have to pick him up and carry him home because he would just refuse to walk any further. So
Oh.
I thought, okay, he prefers to just be able to run around. And when we go for a walk, it's, you're sort of stuck with staying on the streets, not going up to everybody's front door.
This
and,
is true.
Having a good gander in their garden.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been trying to take him more, so maybe twice a week we
Okay.
go around the neighborhood. And usually I go up to 85A through to the little green space, and then we can walk back out, and just up Nordell it's like a block and a half, and then back up to our house. And yeah, he'll walk along fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of stopping and sniffing, which is fine, I understand. But yeah, if he sees people in their yard maybe or a lawnmower, then it's not fun.
Yeah, that definitely
He's scared.
makes it difficult, especially if he's like on his collar. Like,
Yeah.
that's not good, Bubba.
No.
Yeah, we don't like that very much. So what's your kind of like your thought process with that? Like, are you wanting to take him for more neighborhood walks, or are you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would. I'd like to, just because I know in the evening sometimes he's got lots of energy, and
Yeah.
we just don't want to get in the car and go down to the dog park down the street. We want to just, I would take him like up and down the street or on a short walk around the neighborhood, just to burn off some energy.
For sure.
So, yeah, I would like to be able to get him out a bit more.
To do some more,
without, without it being very stressful for both of us.
Well, yeah, exactly. We don't want that. We want it to be relaxing, right?
Yeah.
Do you take treats when you walk him?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Does he listen to you if you have the treats?
So.
Kind of so.
Yeah. He will. He's actually getting better now. So if we're walking and he decides to have a seat on someone's lawn and just not move any further, I can sort of bribe him with a treat in my hand, and I walk a few feet and he'll follow after the treat.
Okay.
And I throw it and he'll eat it. And so we've had a lot of slow, like 5-7 feet at a time, so walks home the last little ways because I'm holding out treats and getting him to walk 5 feet and then he eats.
I see.
Yeah. So
And is that pretty common that he does that?
yeah.
That's like every time?
At the end of our walks,
Okay.
definitely, yeah. And so I thought maybe I'm going too far, but I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
He goes and walks around the 40 off leash, and he's fine. He
Okay.
can walk around there for 40 minutes or an hour,
Okay.
no problem. Yeah.
It sounds like definitely something about his gear,
Yeah.
don't you think? Like something about being on leash,
Yeah.
he's not enjoying.
Just reaches a point where I thought, well, maybe he needs more padding on his harness.
Yeah.
Or maybe a different type of, or a collar even. Like we'll try with a collar.
You could try a
See.
flat collar,
Yeah.
just see how that goes. Like one that's nice and wide.
Like a wide, yeah.
Yeah, nice and comfortable like that. It could help.
Yeah.
So when he's pulling towards people or other dogs, how often does that happen? Is that mostly just at certain times when it's busier out, or do you counter that a lot?
No, I mean, he likes to meet other dogs. So when he sees other dogs, he wants to go and meet
Okay.
them. So, yeah, it happens pretty much every time we see a dog because
Okay.
he wants to go and see them. People, he also likes to meet people
Okay.
usually. So he'll pull towards people, but I can distract him with a treat and here we go, and we just carry on.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
Yeah.
Does that work for dogs too, or just with people?
That works better with people because they're not as interesting.
True.
But it will work with dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you give him like the kissy? Oh, good boy. Do you give him like a kissy noise before you give him the treat, or do you just put the treat in front of his face?
No, I usually say like, here you go. Here
Do
you
something
go,
to get
good
his
boy,
attention
and-
first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I don't just throw a treat at him. I say good boy. Or
Do
let's
something
go,
to-
come on, let's have fun.
Exactly. Okay. I would say just keep doing that. So that's something that might just start working more as he matures.
Yeah.
That is a method that I've had quite a lot of success with, like starting wherever he can be successful. So if people are a bit easier right now and he can be successful, just start there.
Yeah.
Dogs, a lot of time distance is your friend. So if you're able to cross a street or just turn around, just do something to get a little bit more space.
Yeah.
Something that we can also do in the future. Actually, I start to say this and then I remember that I've tried this in the past and it didn't go well because now that he knows me, he's not going to like if I'm walking another dog like
Yeah.
10 meters away. He's going to be like, no, I know you. I need to get to you. But I can see if you're interested, if I'm able to set you up with another client who's working through similar issues and just do what's called a parallel walk. So you're just practicing walking with your dogs, but having them not saying hi. Because it's good for him to learn that he doesn't get to say hi to every single dog because some dogs are not going to be friendly.
Right.
So we need to learn to accept that, right, buddy? Not everybody wants to be your friend. I'm sorry. I know. I can't believe it either. Yeah. But that's something that I would say just consider for the future.
Sure, yeah.
I would say for now, if you're finding that walks are frustrating,
That's
it's not going to be worth it. Like, just find something that works better for him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go to the macadam, the dog park off macadam.
Okay.
And it's, a huge, 2 acres of a big rectangular green space. And he sniffs up one side of the perimeter and down the other side and
Nice.
then runs around. If a dog arrives at his park while he's there alone, then he greets them loudly, barking all the way down with his tail wagging and just excited to see other dogs to play with. And he plays really well with other dogs. There's
Nice.
we've never had any problems.
That's
We had
good.
a problem with a Shiba Inu. We were out for a walk.
Okay.
And the dog kind of came up to Eddie and just took one sniff and started barking and growling
Okay.
and snapping at him, and he was quite terrified.
Yeah.
because usually everybody loves him.
Yeah, you don't expect that.
What? But other than that, and it didn't. I thought, oh my God, that experience is gonna, sour him on other dogs or smaller dogs or something. No.
Okay, he shook it off.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just okay. Well, that dog's not a friend. Okay. moving on.
Yeah, they're
So-
not all friends.
No.
So something that I'll text you the link to this after, but I always carry this spray on me that's used to break up dog fights.
Oh.
So it's something that obviously no one wants to think about, but it happens. I've had it happen twice when I've been walking. One time I was walking a client's dog, and then one time recently I was walking a shelter dog, where a random dog just comes running and like attacks.
Oh.
Like it's quite scary, and a lot of times the owners are just kind of standing there like looking dumbfounded, and I'm like, get your dog, like what are you doing, why are you just standing there?
Yeah.
And I was really glad that I had that spray on me. It's just citronella, so it's not going to cause harm, but it's enough to kind of scare them off and deter them. It just tastes bad,
Yeah. Okay.
so
that
I
would be
just
good.
I spray it like right in the attacking dog's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll send you the link to that.
Sure. Yeah.
It's worth having because you don't want to not have it on you, and that's the time you need to use it. I actually practice like on about a weekly basis. If I haven't had to use it in a while, I practice getting it out of my pocket
Yeah.
and just holding
Ready
it.
to shoot. Yeah.
Just ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not messing around. I don't know what other dogs' intentions are. There are irresponsible owners out there, unfortunately, and with him being small,
Yes.
you know, you never know. I had it happen where it was like a big German Shepherd coming and attacking a mini Schnauzer.
Oh.
So I was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
So thankfully that spray worked
Yeah,
worked
okay,
really
that,
well.
That would be good. I mean, he's not an aggressive dog.
For sure.
But he is half corgi, so he has a very loud bark.
Okay. Yes.
Very, very loud bark.
Yeah.
Which can be startling to people, and
Yeah.
you know, and there's some German Shepherd in him too. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a bunch of stuff in there.
That's right.
Look at
It's usually your nap time right around now, hey?
Yeah.
Tired?
Well, we can start wrapping up pretty
That's
soon.
okay. No, he'll keep going, but
Okay. Cool. So how's that feeling so far with the recall and then that little leash game?
Good.
Pretty straightforward, right? I think you'll have
Yeah.
no issues practicing that in the dog park or wherever you're letting him off leash. And
Yeah.
then he just gets used to, okay, sometimes leash goes on and then it comes off.
Right.
It's not always the end of the fun. I'm probably going to be released back into the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. I'll try, for sure those.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
certainly with the recall, we will definitely work on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't need to overdo it. So if you just do that leash thing like 2 times when you're walking, 2 to 3 times, that's going to be plenty.
Okay.
You don't need to be drilling it over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just about making those moments where you do recall him, where you do put him on leash, make that more impactful, make it more valuable, make it fun.
Yeah.
And we don't always want to be calling our dogs back constantly because then they're like, come on, like leave me alone, let me just do my thing a
Have
little
some fun
bit.
Here,
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Yeah,
Nice
and
guy.
a good, like, to pick a word that we all use, because
Yeah.
I think that all of us use different words with him to make him return to us. So, like, I was come, and Brian will just say his name over
'Kay.
and over, and which will get his attention.
Yeah.
But he won't, you know.
He won't come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he won't come, and then, you know, I'm making kizzy noises, eh? And sometimes that works if, you know, okay, nothing is too interesting around. But a little bit of, and then the kids will say his name or some combination of, you know, a name with his rhyme in it. So
Okay.
it's like all different ways, which nothing is really being consistent, right? So,
Right, and with that, the most important thing is that everyone does this training if they want him to listen. So if you teach him the word come and you have a really good recall with him, you work for weeks and weeks and he's awesome with it, but then Brian says the word come, he might not listen to Brian because Brian hasn't put in that time to do all that training, right? So if Brian wants to pick a completely different word, he can, as long as he just repeats all the steps with it. So he can learn different words for each person, because when we say it, it's going to sound a little different to him anyways, because everyone has a different tone of voice. So yeah, that's totally no problem. If everyone prefers a different word, then it's all good. You can also combine it with a hand signal. So does he know the touch cue, like where he kind of boops?
No.
Okay, we can work on that. Very easy to teach if you're wanting to teach a cute little trick. That's a really fun one, because then if you just get his attention and then he looks at you, but you're like, oh no, he's not coming, then you can just bend down and he come touch. And then he's gonna come boop your hand, give him a treat, and there you go. So that's just kind of can help to complete the recall process if you see him look at you, but he's kind of thinking like, am I gonna come or not? Just something else to encourage him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does often when he comes over and I want him to sit, I have a treat in my hand.
Okay.
And I will say sit like that. And so he sort of recognizes this when he sees me do this.
Oh, okay.
He'll often just sit. And even though I might just want him to come back to me,
Yeah.
not necessarily sit. If I'm holding, you know, my hand out like that, I've noticed that he's plops his butt down.
Like he'll come back and sit.
He'll come back and sit. Yeah.
Great.
So
That always works.
yeah.
I usually personally, I don't make a sit requirement for the recall just because if you're coming back, that's good enough.
No, I don't either.
Exactly, but if he's just doing it automatically,
I'm like, okay, well.
great, we'll take it.
Showers of treats on
Exactly.
you.
Wow, what the best boy ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
So the last thing that I was thinking we could work on is just having him stay on the ground while you're giving treats.
Oh, yes.
So we're gonna troubleshoot this a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll show you first how I do it. So I start with a bunch of treats that are already small enough to give him. So I'm not having like those gigantic chunks.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of these small little ones. And I'm gonna start with them in my hand
Okay.
because it's gonna be a lot easier to just grab it and give it to him right now. And then we're gonna transition back to having them in the pocket or the treat pouch. But just for now, what I'm gonna do is just kind of toss them side to side. So I'm not giving any cues. we're just giving treats. So the idea with this is he's just learning to take treats on the ground, learning that jumping up is not a requirement to getting treats. So I'm just doing it pretty quickly here, where as soon as he looks at me, I just throw it to the side. Yeah, you can do the game now. Looks like he's ready.
Here we are.
Oh, I got a wasp. Wasps really like these types of treats. I know.
Chicken.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Awesome. So let's let him snuffle for those. So notice how we didn't get any jumping there?
Yeah.
So that means that he can do it. It's just about making things only like slightly harder for him so that he can be successful. So if we know that when we stand here and do this, he's going to jump up, we're not going to start there. We're just going to start with this little game.
Okay.
And then I'll show you what the next step would be. Are you seeing bugs? Oh, are we going to catch it? I don't think you should put that one in your mouth. That'll sting you, bubby. He's probably going to have a good time out here afterwards, getting all the crumbs.
Right? No.
So for the next step of this game, I just have my treats, and I'm going to keep them in my fist behind my back. So whoever he comes to first can start. Okay, yeah, so we didn't get any jumping there, so that's great. The key is standing. Jumping gets you nothing. He's avoiding the harness. He doesn't even want to walk over it. Here, I'll move this for you.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing.
That is funny.
At first it was, he wasn't sure what was going on, but then
Yeah.
it became like an active, no, I really don't want
Okay.
this. I really don't like that.
Well, good for you guys for listening to him and noticing that and looking into different solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't spend a lot of time walking because of walking in the neighborhood is not really relaxing.
Exactly.
So really the slip leash, for just getting to and from the car is it's been a really good option.
Okay.
It's quick and easy.
Nice. The other thing too with him, is he booked for his neuter?
Not yet.
Okay.
We have to go in for an appointment next week, and then it'll be looked after that, probably within 2 weeks or so.
Okay, yeah, because he technically could get someone pregnant if a female in heat was to come into the dog park. That's just
Yes.
something I thought about.
I kind of think that's how you came into existence.
Yeah, so that's just something to consider. You might just want to, if you see someone coming into the dog park, just say, "Is your dog a female, and is she spayed?"
I
Because
actually do tell other owners.
Okay,
I say,
good,
he's
good.
Not fixed. I say he's
Good.
he's almost 9 months, and he's not
Okay,
fixed.
awesome. You're already on top of it.
And some dog owners who have other male dogs will say, "Oh, okay, my dog is not good with
Oh,
unfixed
okay.
males." Like, my neighbors don't, just because they
Yeah.
smell more male, I guess, or
Yeah.
more
More hormonal.
Yeah, so that's fine. I totally understand that. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need more puppies.
No.
Yeah. They would be cute though. Yeah, wouldn't they? So now what I'm going to try, since he's been pretty successful at those stages, I'm going to increase the difficulty level a little bit, and I'm just going to reach into my pocket, grab the treat, and keep doing that same game. So let's just see how it goes. And if he's not successful, we'll just go back and then break down the steps even smaller.
Sure.
Uh-oh, you got something itchy? Nice, no jumping. It's looking good so far.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now since he is being successful, I'm just testing a little bit, kind of pushing the boundaries of what he can do. So he jumped a little bit, but then it looks like he thought about it, and then he's like, no, I'm going to stay on the ground. Good boy. Really nice. Good job. So you can give that a try.
Yeah.
Nice. It's looking much better.
Yeah.
Nice boy.
Oops.
Probably helps too that we're doing this towards the end of the session because he's already had lots of treats, so it's not quite as exciting, but still pretty fun. I'm all done. I don't have them.
We want the next person.
Yep. Good boy. So that's really nice. He saw you break it. He saw them in your hands, but he still stayed on the ground.
This will be hard. Uh-oh. Did it fall? Oh. So,
Eddie, come find.
so unathletic.
Come find it. Does he know a find it cue?
I've tried, and sometimes he
Find
will. Say, find your toy, find your
Okay.
find your pillow. Where's the
Boy.
Jeez Louise. I'll snatch it back from you.
Oh.
No, I didn't. There we are.
Yeah, I would say you can probably empty your pocket, or
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think
Sure.
he's learned a lot.
Yeah.
So that technique that we were doing there at the end, that's called an errorless learning procedure. So that's what we do in modern dog training. The dog actually doesn't need to do the wrong behavior in order for us to teach them a new correct behavior. So we just set it up in a way that's completely seamless. So it's kind of like if you were to learn to, I don't know, do some type of skill, you don't actually need to do it wrong. If someone just shows you incrementally each step how to do it properly, then you got it. And any mistakes that are made, we don't really have to do anything about. We just go back and say, okay, you don't quite understand that. Let's just make it a little bit easier. Then we can push up the difficulty level a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
a concept that I like to apply to all my dog training as much as I can.
Yeah.
Just because just makes for a much better learning experience for both of us, I find. I don't enjoy having a dog that's doing the wrong thing over and over. Usually that makes me think, okay, how can I train a little bit better?
Yeah. Well, and it's frustrating when you're trying, if the dog's not doing the right thing and they're trying the same thing over and over and over, and they're just not
getting it.
Getting it.
Exactly. Then it's like, what's the point?
Sit.
Good boy. Yay! Eddie did so good. How's it feel wrapping up there?
Good. Yeah,
Good.
great. Those are excellent tips and tricks to get us more on track with,
Great.
with recall and with
Yeah.
opening up. So.
Yeah, I think it'll give you a lot to work on.
Yeah.
Boy. I know I still have a couple in there. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Sit. Sit. Yes, that's right. Okay, that's a big one.
Good job.
All right.
Great.
Okay. Are we all done, buddy?
Yeah, we're all done.